Oh yeah, that's fine.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me, guys. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
You are an inspiration to a lot of up and coming photographers,
Thank
even
you,
models.
guys.
Like honestly, you are someone to welcome with.
Gracias. Okay, that's interesting. I was born and brought up in the northern part of Nigeria, Kaduna to be precise. So I spent like how many? Like my first how many years? Like my first 14 to 15 years in Kaduna before I came down south. Yeah, so I did my from kindergarten, crèche to secondary school level. I was rounding up secondary school when we moved down south. So due to Sharia crisis, for those who knew.
So how old were you then? How old were you then?
Yeah, I'm about how old was I then? That was about 14, yeah.
You were 14 years old.
Yeah.
When you came to Lagos or just south?
The south, when I came to the south, yeah. Okay, talking about photography, I would say I came in contact with photography. That was year 2001, but I somehow I lost it because I remember I got a small camera back then, but there was no follow up. I even gave the camera out. Then somehow it came back to me in 2008, like 7 years after. Yeah. Actually, to be sincere with you guys, I would say there are quite a number of photographers that have really changed my perspective about photography. However, I would say that every photographer that I've come across their work before actually somehow, some way have actually impacted me in the sense that I try as much as possible to look out for interesting stuff in people's work. So it helps me to define how I relate with anything I'm doing. But specifically, in Nigeria, trust me, none than the only one and only Hakim Salam. Internationally, I have Paul Jong. I don't know if you guys know him. I have Paul Jong. I have Nick Knight. I have Chris Knight. There is Nick Knight. There is Chris Knight, and I also have Mario Testino. And I do a bit of journalism, and HCB is my mentor when it comes to journalism. HCB, Arewa, many of you may not know the guy. Then also Steve McCurry. So these are great guys that I look at their work. Yeah, and it inspires me a lot. Okay, my photography career started at a friend's wedding. Okay, let me go back to the story I was telling you guys at the beginning. So I gave my first camera out. It was an XL2 camera to a brother of mine when he was going for NYC 2001. So after his NYC and he did a few jobs in Nigeria, he traveled abroad. Then he was coming back home for one of the halls. So he brought me a point and shoot camera, a digital, what we call our picnic digital camera. So it was a Samsung, I remember. So I started taking pictures with that. So it was at a friend's wedding. I went to a friend's wedding. We traveled all the way to Ife I attended the friend's wedding, and I started taking pictures of, we were quite more that went for the wedding, like about, let's like 20 of us. So I took pictures of us, different pictures, even while people were in the church, I was taking pictures, and the pictures came out great. And everybody was just willing to pay me. So somehow, and I just found myself becoming a photographer. However, I will tell you that art in general has been in me right from childhood, because I remember back then I used to have a comic book myself whereby I draw. You know, I don't know if you see all these comic book whereby you see kids, they will draw what was it called? Arnold Schwarzenegger, like Commando.
Yeah.
You draw a script like from the beginning to the end till where he's kitting up and there's helicopter and all. So those things have been in me right from childhood, but so it's so sad that our parents in those the parents then they really don't pay attention to the little things that, and perhaps how many people were making money from stuff like that then. So when it comes to challenges, trust me, there's a lot, and some is still very prominent in the industry today, so to say, which has to do with people valuing your work. Like, people don't place value on arts in this part of the world, and they just like, even family members. I remember back then I charged one of my family members 40k. If you ask me 40k, what was it that I wanted to deliver for 40k? I went to the house, we did a get together. It was a get together, and I took photographs and all. So after taking the pictures, I told them I was going to do like 7 frames, and I'm going to do like a mini album, and I charged only 40k. What I'm talking about is not too long ago. I'm just talking of like 2010, 2011. So that's like some 5-6 years, like 6-7 years ago, and they couldn't pay it. So I have series of experiences like that. Well, we are where we are today, and I think that's what makes up the story. If there's something I would have learned before starting photography, I would say business. Like, maybe I would have made more money from you understand, from what I do. Maybe if I have learned business more, or maybe I would have approached but at the same time, I may not see it as a regret, based on the fact that every experience is actually what the lesson. So for me, it's fine. But maybe if I had studied maybe business admin in school, business admin, and I know what business is all about and all, and perhaps maybe some form of online business, you understand what I'm saying? Maybe it would have really helped me. I think my first big job wasn't even portrait or fashion. It was journalism. I documented the visit of the European Commission boss. Then when there was crisis at the Central Africa, so she had to come to Cameroon for some peace talk, and also I documented the entire visits. Yeah, she went to the presidential villa, that's Bia's, Bia's residence and all. She went to some of the ministers. So I think that was, when I came back to Nigeria, I was smiling. My dream job as a fashion photographer is to shoot for the big boys in the industry.
Big boys
Industry.
what industry?
The Balmain, the Givenchy, the Victoria's Secrets. That's my dream job. Those are my dream jobs. It's not just a job. Those are the dream jobs. And for me, as a portraitist, I want to shoot the movers and shakers of the world. Let me just have their portraits. The Queen Elizabeth of England, the Oprah, the Donald Trump. You understand what I'm saying? So I think I'm going to be fulfilled when I have those guys right in front of my lens. I have 2 types of photography, which I do most often, and they are dear to my heart. Number 1 is fashion and portrait, and number 2 is journalism. Trust me, I find fulfillment in doing the 2. Sure, you understand? today I'm in the studio, I'm creating, I'm thinking of how to build sets, directing models, telling makeup artists, this is the look I'm looking for. Me and the stylist, we are talking that, can you adjust it this way? Can we have it this way? You understand what I'm saying? I find joy in doing that. And the next minute, I get a call. Alpha, they just, this so he was kidnapped in Sokoto. We need to do some pictures. And immediately, I'm off. Sure, you understand? And I'm capturing those. Because it helps me, it actually helps me. Fashion and portrait helped me to meet people. It helped me to go to places. Sure, you understand what I'm saying? I see the biggest. Trust me, I've been to houses. I've been to big places. Sure, you understand? And journalism at times just brings me to the lowest parts. Like, you're gonna see malnourished kids. You're gonna see kids that it looks like they don't have hope again. You're gonna see people in their lowest states. So it humbles me. And on the other side again, I see inspiration. Like, I aspire to become big. When I don't know, maybe you understand what I'm saying. So it's for me, it's like a balance. It's like a balanced life for me. Yeah, for me, number one, you need to be consistent. You understand what I'm saying? You need to be consistent. And for me, you can quote me in this, like, I am of the school of thought is, if you can deliver what everybody can deliver, be willing to accept what everybody is willing to accept. If your photography, if the way your perspective about pictures is like every other person, the same style, you understand what I'm saying? Then, and they know that the style you are using, there are like 20 other people that does the same thing. Come on, you don't have to scream over people are pricing me down. But if your work has edge, you understand what I'm saying? You think differently, you try as much as possible to take every job or every opportunity you have to take pictures. You take it seriously and you're able to bring out something tangible from it. You understand what I'm saying? Then you make them realize that, see, the pictures I'm giving you, they are not just pictures. You understand what I'm saying? So even when the client refuses to say, okay, you know what, you're too expensive.
You're special, you're different.
You understand what I'm saying? It's understandable. And trust me, they also understand that side of it. So it has to do with you trying your best to carve a niche for yourself. Create an edge, build an edge. Let people, don't just say you are charging big, but at the same time, exactly, build a foundation. It's just going to help you to balance your life as a photographer. And it goes a long way. I only have a few advice I always tell people, which is, I have them in my head already. Number one, see, one of the best way you can be a good photographer is to look at other people's work. Look at other people's work, study their work. Back then, I remember there was a day I was at a lab in Ogba, and I saw a picture, a fellow photographer was there, and I said, oh wow, this picture, he came to print the picture. So the picture came out and I was looking at the picture, I said, wow, they used 4 lights. And he wanted to go mad. I'm like, how did you know you were not there, blah, blah, blah. So I had to tell him, this one is coming from here, this one is coming from here, this one is coming from here. So look at other people's pictures, study it. So that's one, look at other people's picture. Number 2 is, you need to be consistent. You understand what I'm saying? Consistency is key. Don't let your game be here, today, and tomorrow it comes down. Is very, very key. That's why at times you just see a month I'm not posting pictures. Not because, trust me, I have 1,000,001 pictures I can post, but I try as much as possible to watch what goes out. You understand what I'm saying? I had to like, okay, let me be sure that this can actually go out. If it's not going out, then I don't have to push it. You understand what I'm saying? So consistency is very key. You need to be disciplined as a photographer. Discipline is key, which is what a lot of photographers lack. Discipline is very, very key, and it's key in the area of business. You can do anyhow you like as yourself. Nobody's going to ask you questions, but when it comes to you dealing with people, you need to really be disciplined. Then number 4, which has to do with my own source of inspiration, is God. You understand what I'm saying? God. And I don't know what your own source of inspiration may be, so that one is relatively so you can decide what your source of inspiration would be, but I think that's all for me.
Yeah, with me I have Spotlight, Emmanuel Arewa.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for watching.
In Nigeria, a photojournalist as well.